Okay,
It's hot in here.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, we are super, super excited for today. My name is Jackie Jensen, and I am a top leader here at Trinot. I am here with some of my dear friends, and I think they are all Canadian, right? All three of you are?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm in the US, I'm in Idaho, where thankfully the sun has decided to shine. It is up over 100 degrees today, and I'm outside right now and loving it. I know this doesn't look like it, but it's a background. But my Canadian sisters are here today, and we're going to just chat about, just have a very raw and honest conversation about being a mom and being in this industry. I know we get a lot of bad rap, but I know those of us who are moms sometimes just have been able to find such an amazing freedom. So I'm going to give you my story very quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to some of these awesome ladies. But I was a third grade teacher and didn't have kids yet. And I stumbled into this business completely by accident, and it was a makeup. It was a makeup company, and I did really well. I actually built to the top of that compensation plan. However, I was 7 years in, loved it, was very successful, but I saw a compensation plan over here I just could not say no to. What I love about the compensation over here at Trinot is that I feel like people are winning at every level. They're winning at the beginning, they're winning at the top levels, they're winning in the middle. People can come to me and I can realistically and confidently say, I can help you, whatever goals you have, however much time you're willing to put into this, I can help you get there. So I came over here, and about 2 years in to teaching, and then with my makeup company, I was able to stay home with my kids when I got pregnant with my first daughter. So I have done this full time from home with my kids ever since. And I have two little ones. Their ages are 4 and 1. I absolutely love them, and they love having mom home. They've never known anything different. Now I know that's not a lot of people's goals. Most people that we work with have other jobs, but we all know in this economy, I know for us, I have a little secret to tell. I actually last night in the middle of the night, booked a trip to Disney for my daughter and I. It's our birthday week, 2 weeks from now. So we just booked a last minute trip to Disney, and things like this is what I never could have done as a teacher financially, like never would have been able to do that. So anyway, I'm going to turn this over to Stephanie. She is awesome. She is one of the strongest leaders that I have ever known personally in network marketing. She just recently came over here from a couple different companies, but Stephanie, what benefits have you seen from being a mom and being in this business?
So that is the big question, because I came from the hospitality industry, and when I had my kids, that's all I knew for 15 years. And then I had my kids, and I wanted to stay home with my kids, but there's no way I could work nights and weekends and stay home with my kids. So I opened up my own home daycare. I went the extreme route to stay home with my kids because I needed an income. So I did that for 7 years, 2 years longer than I anticipated. And I stumbled upon, I knew nothing about network marketing, direct sales, even sales in general. Like, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. My friend had a party next door, and I was like, what is this? And I wanted to close down my daycare because it was time for mommy. My kids were in school. So I jumped in on it, and I saw the flexibility that it would offer. And little did I know that buying a bag and joining a company on a whim just to meet other fellow moms and have a little side income would become my full-time job. This is what I do full-time now, coming up to 5 years in August. And my kids have known since birth I've been home. So I ran a home daycare at the beginning till they went to school, and now I'm still home. My kids are now 10 and 12, and mom's just always home. And I love that I could take my cell phone and we could go to the camper and we can go to the beach, and I can sit on an airplane and still work. Literally, my office is my phone. And I love that I make my own schedule. And if I want to hustle, I'll hustle. The harder I work, the more I make. And I can literally choose my own future. And I don't know if I could ever go back to like the 9 to 5 and asking my boss if I can have the morning off. If I want to sleep in, I'm going to sleep in, and then I'll just make it up later, right? So I just love that my kids have always known that mommy's just always home. And it does fall on me to take care of all the activities and do the stuff at school, but that's okay. That's what I want to do, because there'll be a time where the kids won't be home as much. So it has definitely been a game changer, and I wasn't looking for it. That's the beauty of it.
Neither was I.
Wasn't looking for it. I asked the universe for a side gig, and it showed up.
That's awesome. I know, I was the same. And what I love about this too is you really can work it in the nooks and crannies. Nobody's going to be pulling on you to do something right now. Like you have meetings and things, but really honestly, you can do it whatever fits around your schedule. That's awesome. All right, Tara Lee, I would love to hear from you, kind of a little bit of your story and about just how you came into network marketing.
I came into it actually in a very similar route to Stephanie, but I was actually just starting my mat leave, and it happened to be just a great opportunity. And so Steph gave me a call, and we chatted, and I seized the window of opportunity while I was on maternity leave to start my business. And I did it slow and steady in the beginning, and then it just became really fun, and it took on a momentum. And then I went back to work after mat leave was finished and carried on with it. But being back to work caused so much stress in our world. My husband's a pilot. He is gone 50% of the time. So we juggled and danced, and it was really stressful until finally, my husband was there about 4 months before I finally said, I think I'm done at the office. And he's like, good, okay, we're good with that. All right. And then I left work and continued my business full time. And I was balancing the budget with what I was doing with my network marketing career. But then we got news that my husband's dad was sick, and we needed to be on the other side of the country, the other 50% of the time. So we were home and gone every 5 weeks. We were back out on the West Coast, and I could do that. I could say yes every single time we needed to go. There was no hesitation, and in that moment, all the stars align, and it just showed me exactly the freedom of doing this business, being there for my family, being there for my kids. Like, this is all my kids know as well, is having mom at home, because I can do this in the nooks and crannies, as you say. I can do it from my mother-in-law's kitchen counter when I need to, or whatever it might be. I can still balance work, balance my family, and be there in the really critical times that sometimes your family just needs you, and we can say yes doing this business. So I'm very thankful, eternally thankful for this business for that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's awesome. Okay. And then I want to introduce Lindsay. Lindsay has become a dear friend. She actually has built to the top of 2 different companies. This is her 3rd company. And she has decided to make Turnout her home. And I will kind of let her explain a little bit why that is. But Lindsay, would you just kind of explain your family situation and what brought you into this industry?
Okay, sure. I am also a teacher, a retired teacher like Jacqueline. And so what brought me into the industry was really just financial need. I had never been part of the network marketing, obviously, when you're coming in. I just had twins. I have, my son was 2. I had just had twins. And my husband is a shift worker, and we have no family here. So I literally could not go back to work. We could not afford to have 3 children in daycare. It wasn't worth it for the little pittance of money I would be bringing home to lose out on that time, and to be sending them off. And then again, having all the other duties. So I decided to take a leave of absence at the time from teaching before I decided to retire entirely. I took a leave of absence and just had no income. So we needed an income. I felt like I couldn't spend because I wasn't contributing to the home financially. And so I started to look for something, and something really did just fall into my lap. And I felt like I also needed something for myself. So I feel like, there's nothing wrong with being at home with your children. There's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom and not working, but sometimes we need something that's a little bit more just for us, that makes us feel like it lights our fire a little bit more than just our kids. And so I was looking for something like that got me also feeling, not only was I contributing financially, but I had something that was giving me something I felt like it was mine and it wasn't mom. And that's how it all fell into my lap. And then I just was very successful with it. And then just learned the power of the industry, the flexibility, like everybody else has mentioned. Right up to a couple of years ago, my son was very, very ill and in the hospital for a long time. I didn't have to worry about, calling in sick to work or going on some sort of leave or not being able to be there. I just could work from there and be where I needed to be when I was needed. So it really is invaluable. And I think sometimes network marketing gets a bad rap. There's a lot of people that like to try to poke holes in it. And like I always say, one shoe does not fit all, one size does not fit all. There's a lot of great industries out there, and there's a lot of different things that we need all the kinds of people. We need all the kinds of things out there. And if this can fit and do something for you and your family, then that is what you focus on, is what it can bring to your world and what in turn you can bring to others from it too. So
yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, we promised an honest conversation today. So I'm not going to pretend like that network marketing is all sunshine and rainbows all the time. Like, honestly, like no job is perfect. Everything has its drawbacks. So I'm just going to kind of like open it up for popcorn, whoever wants to answer, but can you guys kind of share just on an honest way, like what have you found has been a challenge as a mom to be in this space?
I would say, sometimes it can be hard to shut it off, because if you're working from home and you're working for yourself, it's really challenging, or it can be challenging to set office hours and stick to them, because your business is run from your phone. And so therefore you can sometimes feel like you're on call 24/7, but you can set office hours. It's a matter of being disciplined enough to do so.
Yes, for sure. Anybody else?
That's exactly where I ended up when I made the shift to come to Toronto. I had actually decided to leave my other business because I'd let it creep in everywhere, and it felt not as much fun anymore because of it. And then with Toronto, I was like, okay, setting the boundaries, I'm going to set office hours. And suddenly even my husband came home and he's like, this is much less time consuming what you're doing now. But it's that, yeah, you feel responsible and accountable to people. So you sometimes pick up your phone when you shouldn't, maybe. So it is having that discipline and being prioritizing yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
As you having a family, you forget to do that too.
Yeah. How about you, Steph?
You know what? I'm guilty of the same thing. And I think I can speak on all of us that we love what we do. And sometimes I say to Tara Lee, sometimes I just want to sit down and work. I just want to work, but sometimes you just can't. And so you have to find that struggle within to find those boundaries and find those times and turn that phone off and work those little moments in between. But same thing, the reason why I was so drawn, there's many reasons why I was drawn to Trinot, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but there's so much more freedom I find in my life now. And although I feel like I'm working the same way, but not as much, there's just so much more time in my day now, which is mind blowing, because it was literally, like Thurley says, it was everywhere in my life 24/7, where now I can kind of balance that a lot better.
Yes. And I was actually going to touch on that if no one else did, that this company is different from any of the companies that the four of us have come from, because this is not our first, any of us. But one of my mentors in Trinot always calls it like peddling products. Like a lot of these companies, they have a lower buy-in, but she's like, you're just peddling products. You're making a lot less money. You're spending a lot more time making like $5 a transaction. Where this, we're solving problems. We're not just trying to get people to buy things that they're spending more money than they need to, that they can just run to Walmart and get the same thing. But here we're literally helping people. And that's what fuels me. Is last summer was starting to feel very unsettled. Like I'm about to hit 40. I want to do stuff. Not that I wasn't making a difference in my last company, because I was, but I really felt like I needed to go up to the next level. And I really wanted to just to feel like I was really making an impact. And here, if you guys could only read, like you guys are all in Ripple Effects, you see the hundreds and hundreds of testimonies that we get. And these are only a few of the ones that I see of people whose lives are changed from these products and from the business. So I love that. All right. Now I want to kind of shift our attention a little bit to Trinot itself. So we have a couple big promos going on right now. If you're seeing this after June, sorry, too bad, so sad, but hopefully you're seeing it in June still, because we have a $10,000 bonus right now on the table for anyone who joins. And they just announced we have a kit option that is almost half of what it normally costs to join. So this has never been a better time to join. What you, and whoever can answer first, but what drew you specifically to this company? What caused you to say like, okay, I'm going to leave my former company and come over here?
So I'll start because I started the ripple effect between the three of us, which is so funny because I just stumbled upon this company as well. I came for the collagen. I wanted the collagen. I did my research, and then we started talking, Tara Lee and then I started talking with Lindsay about the collagen. And I didn't really share that with anybody because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure. I was skeptical. I've never done supplements. I wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, looks too good to be true. And then I tried it and it's legit. But then I started asking questions more and more about the compensation plan. I've never seen a plan like this where literally we can not only help our customers, but we can help our teammates and we can grow together. And I'm a carrot chaser. And especially when you're self-employed, you know, the only person who's going to force you to do anything is yourself. The only person who's going to be hard on you is yourself. The only one who's going to motivate you is yourself. So if there's an opportunity to earn a bonus at this level and a bonus at that level, and maybe a Jeep, and then maybe a trip, maybe $10,000 on the table, I'm going to work for it as much as I possibly can. I will say when I did join, I had that opportunity on the table and I was so scared that I sat on it for almost 3 months. And I will never forgive myself for that because I probably could have got that bonus, but I was scared. So you just got to sometimes just jump in on it. But I just love that we can literally help. And I'm that's what I do. I love helping people. My Enneagram number is 2, which is all about helping people. I'm the helper and I get to do it on both sides. So I went, Lindsay had heard about Trinot, so we talked about it a lot. And I kept saying, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. And same thing with Tara Lee. I said, Tara Lee, I can't, like, we're leaders in our previous job, in our previous company. We've done everything together. I said, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. So here, that's my story of how I came on.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, anybody else?
I would just say the same thing. I've just never been able to assist other people in the same in this kind of fashion. Normally, you know, an upline earns on their upline and is really unable to provide to help other people to grow their income other than being a mentor. So the fact that the way that the comp plan works and the volume rising means that we can really help people. And I think that's huge because ultimately when we join these things, we do it for ourselves, but when you start to connect with people and make those relationships and those connections, nothing feels better than bringing other people along with you. You know, like we always say, when you get to where you're going, help the next person in line. That's what this business really enables. So I love that.
That's what sure. Is what I loved as well. The ability to help our team members and to change their story, as well as to change our own story. I came for the idea, the products and everything, and I barely placed my order. And I was like, forget it. No, I'm all in. And it was from talking to Stephanie, and she and I partnered. This is the 3rd business we partnered in. And it was legit and so exciting to be able to, one, help people change their day-to-day life, but then also help with their financial situation is that much better. It's just amazing.
Yes. And so as a mom, what would you say, speaking of products, what would you guys say, like Tara Lee, we'll start with you. What would you say your favorite product is, like, as a mom?
As a mom, it is definitely the Enrich right now. My daughter was diagnosed last summer as celiac. So as soon as Steph kind of mentioned what Enrich was to me, I was into the ripple effect and researching there, and reading stories and reaching out to some of the people and asking questions. And, you know, with that diagnosis, it came a really helpless feeling. All you can do, I can change her diet, but I can't protect her from any of the outside, you know, cross-contamination that's gonna happen. And she's only 5. Like, now she's 5. Sorry, at the time she was 4. She's just fresh out of the gates. To have this diagnosis, it's like, okay, I got to give her tools that she can have for the rest of her life. But as a mom, you want to shield them, right, in some way. And Enrich, I can do that. And all it is I mix it into some juice, and she takes her Enrich every day. And I know she can go off to that birthday party without concern that, oh, you know what, she accidentally tasted something. You know, she's not going to have the terrible pain and the cramping. And sure enough, the other day, my husband had them all weekend up at the cottage, and I was away at a girls' weekend. So fun for me. I get home and I was like, so did everything stay consistent? And he's like, and so she was playing Play-Doh, and as 5-year-olds for some reason do, she licked her hand with the Play-Doh, And so the next morning she was in pain. I passed her her juice with the capsule in it, and within 10 minutes, the pain had gone. It was amazing.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm gonna get a little emotional, but that's a powerful, powerful tool. So as a mom,
Yeah.
that's my one right now.
Wow, I love that. And when Rich is a pre and probiotic that helps break down our food and help us pass it through. So I've heard so many stories. Just if you have any gut issues, search in Rich in this group and amazing things will come up. All right, Steph or Lindsay. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, Steph or Lindsay, either one of you?
Well, I'll jump in real quick. Me, it's Mojo. Mojo for me. And again, I came for the collagen, but that was 100% selfish. That was just for me, this stuff. But the Mojo, I've always struggled with alertness and brain fog. Brain fog is real. And I'm not a morning person. I've been a night hawk since birth. Even my mom said I party at night and sleep all day. Like, it was just the way I am. And so brain fog, especially as I got older, 40, I have older kids, and I just had a really hard time focusing. And then I tried the Mojo for a couple days in a row, and I couldn't believe the effects it's had. I have so much more clarity. I have that boost of happiness. It keeps me energized throughout the day. I don't get the jitters. I don't get the crashes. So because of that, I feel like I'm just a better mom because I'm more alert. I don't have to search for my words as much as I used to. It gets me through the day. Dinner can get made instead of just falling asleep on the couch at 3 o'clock every single day because I'm so tired. Plus, I don't drink coffee anymore because I was drinking 3 cups of coffee a day, and my gut does not like coffee. It doesn't like it, and it's never have, but it was the only thing to wake me up in the morning. But then you crash, and you crash hard. Mm-hmm. So Mojo has, when I say this to every day to Tara Lee, Mojo is life, and it's changed my life. And so and now my husband's on it, and he's all about Mojo is life. So the two of us have a very expensive hot water tank in our Keurig machine because it's all we use now.
That's awesome. All right, Lindsay, what about you?
Well, I have the exact same story as the other two. So, and Rich is working for Lila, my daughter, who has constant pain and has trouble since she was 2. Mojo works for me, and I've kicked coffee as well, but I'm going to say then, because I don't want to repeat it. I'm going to say the collagen, because after having twins, my hormones were like very much out of whack. And so my hair was really thinning. And that was the reason I searched liquid collagens. That's the reason I stumbled across Trinon. That is how I discovered the company long before I was a customer long before I became an associate. And then I would have to say, because I'm more approaching middle age, the Renew is a big one for me. I don't really have menopausal symptoms yet, but anything that I can do to kind of curb that and assist with what I know is coming, I'm really blown away by like some of the different results that I'm seeing too with age spots on my face, and from things that I've read about how it's helping people with menopausal symptoms. So I'm just consistently taking it, hoping that will help me as well. So those are
That's awesome.
I love them all.
Yes, I know. And I'm also postpartum, and I have I've been taking the collagen for 8 months now. So my hair looks very long. At first, when I do this, it was like this big bush, but you can see I have a bunch of so I had my new regrowth after my baby, and then I started taking collagen, and then a whole nother set of regrowth came. So that's awesome. Okay. So before we wrap this up, is there anybody who wanted to add anything? Like, if we didn't touch anything that you were hoping to add? Anybody?
I might comment just on one thing where, like Steph had said too, and actually Tara Lee, but we're all coming from completely different industries. So there might be people on here that I know one of my biggest fears about coming into this industry and joining this industry, and why I, like Steph, sat and did nothing for several months after joining the company, would be the health and wellness side, and sharing it sometimes can be scary if it's, if it's something that you aren't used to sharing. That can be a territory that can be uncomfortable, where and I think that's because if someone purchases, like Steph said, a bag, they're really happy. They go out, they've got their person, they have that visual, like, I just spent money and look how pretty I look, where sometimes health and wellness can take a little bit more time. So I think that you really have to look at like the ripple effect, or when you do start talking to people about things, and like Tara Lee's story with her daughter, and you start realizing that there really is a real impact out that it's having on people, and recognize that it may not have that same impact for everyone. There will be people that will say they don't, they don't feel anything and they won't stick with it. And just know that you're doing a service. You're providing, like we said, a solution, and just being confident and standing in that. It's completely different industry that I'm comfortable with. And I have to say though, that the feedback I'm getting make it worthwhile. So if you feel like you're not comfortable, don't worry. Once you start seeing the impact you're having, that will melt away.
Yes, for sure. I love that. Okay. Anybody else?
I have to say that
Yep.
the same, I had that same hesitation stepping over to health and wellness. I was like, oh, do I want to do this? And having that first 60 days of posts sent to you, and just even ideas, and you don't even necessarily have to use that one, but it can kickstart the creativity, or it's just served up to you. That really helped my confidence with being able to try this and give it the go that it is. And it's so exciting. The emails, once they start coming about how it's changing people's lives, seeing it within your own four walls, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I love it.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. All right, Steph, what about you?
Yeah, and I think, just touching a little bit on what Lindsay's saying too, we always come up with these reasons why not to do something, and it's never the right time, and I don't think I can do it. And we do all of those things all the time. I know I did it when I first started 5 years ago, and it's just so funny that if you just think outside the box and realize the difference that you're actually making and what it can do for you and your family as well as your customers, it's a whole nother ball game. And I'm someone who suffers from social anxiety, severe social anxiety, and it's taken me a long time to be able to do something like this, but it's made me grow in so many different ways. And I've met so many incredible women, strong, independent, smart women, and it's changed my life completely. And it's helped me grow in so many different ways. And there's value in that. And just, we're all going to have fears, and no one's going to know it all from the beginning. None of us did when it came to health and wellness. I was petrified as well, because I've never even taken supplements. And I know that, but I've also learned that knowledge is power. And a lot of times when people judge certain companies, it's because they don't know the information. So our job is to educate them as much as we possibly can, but we're also not alone. So if I don't have the answer, then I'm going to ask Lindsay. And if Lindsay doesn't, I'll ask Tara Lee. If Tara Lee doesn't, I can ask Jackie. There's a network of people here that can help each other, and we learn and grow together. And that's the beauty. We're not going to just throw you into the wild and say, figure it out. There's systems in place here that I wish I knew 5 years ago. Because if I were to go back, right, we go think about our previous companies and think of the systems we have now, my life would be so much easier in the last 5 years having these systems in place. So just give yourself a little bit more grace. And it's going to be scary when you try something new. Always is. But just have a little faith that it'll all work out, and you're not alone.
Yes, for sure. We have such simple systems here to help people who have no experience to come in here and find very quick success. So if you're like, hey, I just have a very part-time schedule, but I'm looking to make another $500 a month, we can help you do that. If you're like, hey, I want to make this big business, I want to make $5,000 a month, we can help you do that. Just whatever your goals are, we have systems in place that can help you with whatever you need. So, well, thank you ladies so much for joining me today. And if you're a mom, would you comment below in this video? Tell us the takeaways that you took from here. And if someone sent this to you, get back with them. We would love to have you join our incredible team. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.